We're back on the spot. Nida Khan.
How we doing?
President Obama. He's looking real good right now.
Beyond good. He's the head man and head man in charge and looking phenomenal right now. This is like, you know, and it's so amazing to me how he completely shut down the entire Trump fiasco.
Oh
like,
my God, I was sitting there,
like,
holding it.
Trump what? And you know, it's so funny. Now, I'm not saying he did this on purpose, but you know, they announced that he was going to speak at 10:30, which cut right into the season finale of The Apprentice. So everybody was tuned into that, and that runs from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern time. So it was 10:30. Like, we're talking about the season finale, and remember, a lot of people speculated that Trump did this whole thing just to get high ratings for his show.
Exactly.
So he cut right into that. Everybody at about like 10-something switched off, started watching the news, waiting to see the president's statement, you know, and they had no idea what it was about. It was this great, like, you know, eerie mystery.
So nobody had a chance to see Donald?
On a Sunday night. So pretty much everyone tuned away, and he ended up the president did not speak until 11:30, but he still got everybody away from The Apprentice in the 10 o'clock hour, which is so crazy and hilarious and great at the same time, because it was like the final, you know, he got the last laugh. Like,
and nobody talks to Donald. They don't even know what happened.
They're like, Donald who? Donald what?
Yeah,
know.
Donald Duck.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donald Duck.
Basically,
Yes,
completely
yeah.
out the picture. I mean, this is a great look for the president right now. You know, like this is almost like the kickoff to his 2012 campaign, the official. It could be the official kickoff. I mean, he got the most wanted man ever. You know, caught him.
The real wanted man.
Right.
That's the most important.
Right. Not the other one.
Not the guy that you was chasing for your father. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right.
You was chasing your father's enemy and stuff like that. No, you got the real one.
Yep.
And although they're spinning it, but Obama now, what's his next step?
Well, I mean, they're already,
Libya.
you know, he and the administration are already stressing that we have to remain constant and vigilant in our efforts abroad, because there's still, just because you cut the head of the snake doesn't mean the rest of the snake is dead, and someone else could prop up and take his place, and there could be, like we talked about, there could be retaliation.
Without a doubt.
So you have to be vigilant and proactive in other countries. So
we got enough sleeper cells here, but now what I'm trying to get a little specific here. You just caught the most wanted. How do you capitalize and keep going, poll wise and everything else? How do you capitalize
off of this greatest
Of
victory?
course.
I mean, he already has. His poll numbers have already gone out to his support, and the one thing too, like the Republicans and those on the right always try to criticize him, and any Democrat for that. You know, try to criticize any Democrat for being weak on security, national security, or international security. So now after this, it's like, what is going to be your argument? Like, they can never use that argument against him, because he's shut it down. Like,
you catching this here. You first you started out by being proactive with Libya. So that was something. Little Hillary Clinton kind of forced his hand with that, but you were proactive on Libya.
Well, and even before Libya, in Pakistan, the Predator drones that they're dropping, which, you know, I have my issues with that, because a lot of civilians get killed, a lot of innocent civilians get killed, and we don't even realize it. So it's a very controversial issue, especially when we're not at war with Pakistan, and we're still, you know, and in Yemen too, we're dropping Predator drones, and now in Libya as well, like, you know. So, you know, he beefed up the Predator drone program in Pakistan. He increased troops on the ground in Afghanistan, and now we're in Libya, and now he got Bin Laden. So he's been actually very much so on the forefront of...
I have a problem with that also, considering, you know, you just took a Nobel Peace Prize last year, and now you're dropping unmanned drones all over the place. And yes, you're killing a lot of innocent people, and we just call it collateral damage.
Right. That phrase itself just really bothers me.
Without a doubt. But now you show diplomacy and strategic moves when you say we're going to go up in here, and this is what should have been done before, which deal with Bin Laden as like a criminal, as opposed to a military fight. Which could have saved us a lot of money here. We could have sent CIA and special ops in there and make a move on them that way, as opposed to
nation building.
Exactly, because this is what we're doing, and this is what we're going to have to keep doing. But learning from this here, even with Libya, because we're not supposed to be in the business of regime change. How does Obama now turn around and capitalize on this here because he got chips here.
Well, I think we're definitely going to see.
Bring it home.
Right. I think we're going to see much more go on in Libya and elsewhere. And I believe just a short time ago there was another explosion in Tripoli. You know, we have the drones. We have other things still going on. And, you know, it's just, it's like, we as like normal average citizens never really know exactly what's going on the ground. You know, it's not like you and I are over there getting our own. We could take our cameras and go over there, but we're still not going to know everything going on behind the scenes. You know, and that being said, it's like you saw what happened in Egypt, you saw what happened everywhere else in Yemen and all these countries.
Bahrain.
Right. And these people who were heads of state were just almost instantaneously and overnight regime change. And
but this have a problem now. I'm going to switch it slightly and I'm going to bring it directly to you. With your background and you speak fluent
Urdu, which is the main language spoken in Pakistan. So, like in the region where Bin Laden was caught, it's in, I believe you pronounce it correctly, Abbottabad, because it's named after Major James Abbott, who was an English major actually. So his name was Abbott, so it should be Abbottabad. Okay, but that being said, yeah, the majority of people in that area speak Pashto and some other languages, but the universal national language is still Urdu. So to me, it's just like.
But you speak.
I speak Urdu, right?
Okay.
The main language.
Fluently.
So fluently.
Okay, we have to say that.
Don't ask me to say anything.
But I'm gonna say where I'm going with this is you reached out to major networks as a legitimate journalist.
Right. And
it's been in this here for a long time. CNN, NBC, MSNBC, everybody.
Right. It's crazy because I have
to be a correspondent.
Well, not even, you know, because I've worked on projects at MSNBC, I've worked at CNBC, I've worked at a lot of these major networks and then different, you know, with my writing, like I've written everywhere. And I reached out to the bureau chief in Pakistan for the New York Times. And she specifically, we had a whole exchange, you know, this was actually last year. And it culminated with her basically telling me in a nice way that I was too Americanized and I never lived in Pakistan and I didn't understand a lot of the bureaucracy, which granted there is a lot. No, I'm sure she does. She's been there for a long time, which there is a lot, and a lot of the cultural nuances that I wasn't going to comprehend it. But then 5 days later, I had a conversation with one of the reporters who had been covering Pakistan for a while. He did about 5 pieces, and this is just your average white male. And I asked him, I was like, you know, was Pakistan or South Asia your normal beat? And he said no. And I was like, oh, interesting. And I was like, do you speak any of the languages spoken there? He said no. I was like, oh, okay. So they just kind of send you. He's like, yeah, they were like, we're going to send you to Pakistan to do this. So to me, it's like my mind can't even begin to process or understand that. Like, why wouldn't you utilize someone who, like, you know, I do production work and I'm also a reporter. So it's like you have, and I do print and radio and some TV stuff I've done. But why wouldn't you utilize someone like that who has contacts, who has like tons of family in the country, who speaks the language and who understands the dynamics of both the West and the East to be that bridge? Like, why? It's just crazy to me. And I reached out to different producers at CNN that I knew and MSNBC, letting them know. Sunday night, I emailed them at like midnight. After I got off the White House conference call, I was like, I'm available if you guys need additional.
And you have, not to say, we all have to say this, you have White House press credentials.
Well, I'm on the White House press list.
Press list, okay.
Yeah, in order to have credentials, I have to be there every day.
Okay.
You know, in DC. But yeah, I am on the White House press list. So I was on the conference call after the president spoke, like I mentioned, and after that, I emailed, you know, these producers and different people that I knew at the networks. Like, I can go tomorrow. I will pack my bags and go with you. And I don't even necessarily have to go in a reporting, you know, or an additional reporting position. Like, I'll even go and do research, do behind the scenes stuff for you. I mean, it's crazy. Like, I don't understand.
Why the major the Times,
right, or just like why you wouldn't
and all these other major networks will not use someone with the background and the credentials and who speaks the language in none of these major networks.
Right. Because you know what it is, when you go into foreign countries, when you have someone who may look a little bit like you and who speaks the language, I can guarantee you the people on the ground are more apt to speak to you than they are to someone that looks nothing like them.
Of course, that goes without saying. Just because you can speak the language.
Right.
We'll go ahead on and we'll talk to you.
Yep.
But we're going to come back. We're going to close out this last segment. I got one more question to ask you when we come back. We'll be right back after this message. Thank you.